Boris Johnson will face Parliament for the first time later since paying a fine for breaking the law. The UK Prime Minister is expected to again apologise as the opposition accuses him of misleading and lying to the House of Commons. In addition to his rule breaking, he is also likely to come under fire from some MPs for his Rwanda asylum seeker plan and the soaring cost of living and the government's response to it. Today marks Boris Johnson's 1,000th day in office as Prime Minister. He came to power on the 24th of July in 2019 and since then has had a bumpy ride with a series of scandals, U-turns, this law-breaking, as well as a pandemic and a war in Europe. Well, let's talk now to our correspondent Chris Jones, who's joining me live from London. And Chris, a potentially difficult afternoon ahead for the Prime Minister.
Yeah, a difficult afternoon at the very least for Boris Johnson, who, as you've mentioned, is going to be facing the wrath of Parliament for the first time since these fines were issued over these illegal gatherings. He's expected to apologise and take ownership of his actions, but he's also expected to say that he didn't knowingly mislead Parliament, which is something that the Labour Party vehemently disagrees with. The Transport Minister, Grant Shapps, however, he's stuck by the Conservative leader, the leader of the government. He says that he should be allowed to get on with his job and get on with more important matters, such as the war in Ukraine. Now, the Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, has commented on that and said that on Ukraine, he's using that really as a shield, and I think that's pretty offensive. The Labour has been pretty scathing and has asked for the resignation of Boris Johnson over these fines. And of course, there could be more fines still to come, which could be even more catastrophic for Boris Johnson and his role as Prime Minister if they happen. So really, this afternoon, a pretty difficult line of questioning to come, and all eyes will be on to see how he deals with that pressure.
OK, Chris, but what can the opposition parties who are so angry about all of this, you mentioned some of the comments there from Keir Starmer, what can the opposition parties actually do here?
Well, the opposition Labour Party and, of course, the Liberal Democrats as well, they're calling for two things, really. First of all, they're calling for a debate on whether the Prime Minister knowingly misled Parliament over these illegal gatherings. Remember, Boris Johnson was adamant that no rules had been broken under these COVID-19 restrictions. The Labour Party says that any reasonable person really that was in his position at that time would have known that they were going on because of the sheer number of parties that were reported to have happened. That could get voted through by the Leader of the House, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, but what's less likely to be voted through is this call for a vote of no confidence from the Labour Party and the Liberal Democrats. That's unlikely to go ahead, and even if it does, the majority that Boris Johnson has within Parliament would fail completely. That doesn't mean, though, that Boris Johnson's safe from a vote of no confidence. We've got the May local elections coming up in just a couple of weeks, and that will be a real test for the Conservative Party over how damaging these fines will have been for the Conservative Party and his leadership. So not just a difficult afternoon ahead for Boris Johnson, but he may also face calls of no confidence from within his own party in the coming weeks, depending on how those May elections go. So, as I say, not just a difficult afternoon, but a difficult few weeks and months ahead too.
OK, Chris, thank you.